and I'm going to change my thing from live to a mute, but I'll be listening in and also and jumping in.
So
Hi,
obviously
Connie.
today we're going to talk about lead generation. Generation, so exciting. It really is. It's how we get all of our business and do all of our transactions. So I'm hoping that I can share information that's going to benefit newer agents as well as seasoned agents. So there's a lot of great ideas here. Everybody's busy right now, right? Everybody a little crazy? Yeah? A little nuts?
Yeah.
All right. So lead generation is the most crucial thing in sustaining our businesses. All the lead generation that we do now, they're going to be the transactions or the clients that we're working with 3 months down the road. So we don't have much time left. We really have 5 months left in the year, which only gives us 3 more months of lead generation to close business for 2020. So I have a question for everybody, and I can only see so many people, but raise your hand if you know where your business comes from. Whether it's internet, referrals, social media, wherever it comes from, do you know where your business is coming from? Okay, so here's my next question. What percentage of your business comes from referrals? And if everybody could just take a second and put that number in chat, and I'll take a look at it in a minute, because I'm very interested. So a little bit about me, I have been trying to work by referral since I got back into the business 17 years ago. But it's only been the last 5 years that I've truly focused on running my business by referral, where I consider myself, I'm a by referral agent. Not that I don't work with new people, because we all do that, it's what we do. But 91% of it comes from referrals, and it's a really great feeling. So I just want to kind of look, I got a couple people responded. Oh, great numbers, 80%, awesome. So we got some really good numbers here. So I want to ask everybody, can you imagine if all of your business came from referrals? Can you imagine if you increased that number and the phone calls that you were receiving were, hi, my name is Joe. You sold Tom, my brother, a house. Tom said I should give you a call and hope you're going to take great care of me. Now you're thrilled. You know you're going to take care of him. He knows you're going to take care of him. You've just started that relationship out with trust. That's the best way to start a relationship. You also know that by doing such an awesome job with Tom's brother, that Tom's going to refer you business, Joe's going to refer you more business, and it's just going to keep going. It's the best domino effect you can get, is running your business by referral. So your database is your gold mine, and it's really where you should be spending most of your time with all your lead generation. So the relationships that we start to form now, they're going to be the business that comes to us down the road in years to come, whether it be 1 year, 10 years, and 20 years. I think no matter how old we get as realtors, we just kind of feel like we're going to keep doing this forever. So it'd be really nice to be that senior agent and know that you're not even dealing with an internet call. You've got somebody else to do that for you, because your phone's always ringing with people that want to work with you because you help their friends and family. So having that steady stream of business, that's what is going to give you the peace of mind that we all need. We all need peace of mind in this crazy, crazy world. So where do you start? So the most important thing you can do is schedule your lead generation. You should have 1 to 2 hours blocked every single day for lead generation, no matter how busy you are. We all have listing appointments, buyer appointments. We need appraisers. We need inspectors. We're sitting down for an hour talking to sellers about 50 home inspection repairs we got from their buyer. We have to make the time for lead gen. Whether an agent does 33 deals a year or 100 deals a year, what's the one thing we all have in common? We all have 24 hours in our day. Nobody gets any more hours. Nobody gets any less hours. So we have to make the time. By making it a standard daily practice every single day, it becomes routine. It becomes easy. You wouldn't not go to a listing appointment because you're too busy. You're going to make the time for it. So you have to make the time for the lead generation. You also have to make sure that you're tracking your lead generation so you know who you've spoken to. That's really important, because you need to make sure you're staying in contact with the people that you want to stay in contact with. Now, over the last few months, our conversations have been a little bit different with our clients. We haven't been asking for as many referrals. We've been calling and saying, hi, how you doing? How are you coping? What's going on in your life? We wanted them to know we care. Well, we still care, but now we can ask for the referrals. The market is crazy. So definitely when we're calling now, there's no reason not to ask for a referral. Right now, all we have is positive news. Everybody wants positive news. We have nothing to give but positive information. We are the bearers of good news. This is a wonderful thing. So we should be talking to everyone we know, everyone we meet about the real estate market, about how we love what we do, how that's what sets us apart. I mean, I absolutely love this business. As crazy as it is, I think I thrive on the craziness, but I love it. I love helping people. So when I'm calling people now, it's nothing but I'm bringing a smile to their face when I tell them good news. They're all hearing bad news. They're hearing it on Facebook. They're hearing it on the news. They're hearing it from their family, friends, and a lot of the other doom and gloom agents that are out there. So we want to be that positive light for them. We want to tell them about the low interest rates. We want to tell them how listings are flying off the market. Conversations like that, that's what's going to leave people walking away, not only with a smile on their face, but they're going to be thinking of you. You're going to be the one that brought them the good news, and they're going to keep that in their mind. So it's one more reason out there that we've got to get out there and we got to spread the good news. Usually you hear that in a different term. Today we're spreading the good news about real estate. So most of you know me. You know I'm a Buffini girl. I've been doing the Brian Buffini system for 5 years. And there's a story that I really it resonated with me the first time I heard it. And I heard it about 5 years ago when I took the Peak Producers class. I actually think of the story every day. So every day I ask myself, did I work today? Did I work today? So Brian and Joe Nigo and Brian Buffini, when they were both just regular agents, they used to call each other every day. And Joe, they would ask each other, did you work today? So Joe calls Brian and says, hey, Brian, how you doing? Did you work today? Brian says, I had a listing appointment this morning. I got 2 closings this afternoon. I got a buyer appointment tonight. And Joe says, no, did you work today? Well, Brian, Joe, I told you. Joe says, did you work today? Brian thinks, no, I didn't work today because I have not reached out to one person and asked for a referral. All of those things that we do, the listing appointments, the buyer appointments, the home inspections, those are things we have to do. That's what we do in our business. The lead generation is what gives us the opportunity to meet the home inspectors and to get the listing appointments. We have to do lead generation. So, try it out every day. At the end of the day, look and say, did I work today? There's going to be days where you don't have time to make 10 or 20 phone calls, but did you make a couple at least? Did you at least make the effort to reach out to somebody to say, hey, I want to call and say hi, the market's really hot right now, and tell them all the good stuff and ask for the referral at the end of the conversation. That is really the most important thing that you can do for yourself and for your business, for now and for the future. All right, so now we're going to talk about different sources for lead generation. Who do we call? So your database is that gold mine. So do you need listings? We all want listings, right? We all need more listings. There's tons of buyers out there. How do we get listings? So if you're an agent that ever sold a house in the past, that's somebody you can call. So right now what I've been focusing on are people who have purchased their home 4 to 8 years ago. I'm emailing them or calling them. I'm telling them how great the market is. Over the last 4 months, they might have realized their house is too small or too big. So they might be thinking about selling. And even if they're not, it's just a great reason to call. It's such a great feeling when you call to put a smile on somebody's face and say, hey, Tom, guess what? Do you know how much equity you've built in your home over the last 7 years? Do you know what your home is worth? Here's what the homes are selling for in your neighborhood. Even if he's not ready to sell, guess what? He's feeling really, really good. He's going to walk away from that conversation feeling good. You're going to be on his mind. And when his neighbor mentions they're thinking about moving, he's going to say, you got to call my agent. She did a great job. So if you need a listing right now, start calling your database. Call those people that bought a house from you anywhere 4 to 8 years ago. Or if you've got people that have been there 10 years or longer and they're still there, call them up. They're definitely probably thinking about selling. Another great group of people to call, your A-pluses and your A's. So if anyone's given you a referral in the past, you're very likely that they're going to give you a referral again in the future. But again, you've got to reach out to them. You've got to tell them what's going on in the market. They need to hear that positive news. So the more people you reach out to, the more people are going to either think about making that move or tell somebody else about making that move. Another great source, and I think a lot of us forget it. I know I have to remind myself constantly. So sometimes we're so wrapped up in the transaction with our sellers or our buyers, we're actually forgetting to ask those people for referrals. Those are the people, they're thrilled with us right now. Our sellers, we just got them a full price offer. They're closing in 30 days. They're getting to Florida. They're doing what we want, what they want to do, all because of us. Now's a great time to say, hey, you know, we got you full price. I wish I had 10 listings like yours. Do you know of anybody thinking of selling? Same thing for your buyers. Buyers are seeing phenomenal interest rates right now. I've seen 2.75. I saw a buyer get a 15-year mortgage for 2.5%. I love telling that story. People are blown away. So feel free to reach out to your buyers and say, wow, you know, you've got this great interest rate. You have any friends or family that might want to take advantage of that? You have to ask your current clients. They're going to be happy to refer you. And because they're either buying or selling a house, it's top of their mind. So, you know, if you buy a red truck, what do you see on the road all the time? You're like, wow, there's all these red trucks, because it's in your mind. It's in that subconscious. Well, that's going to happen with your current clients, but you just have to put it out there, because if we don't ask, they're not thinking about it. So remind yourself with all your current clients, ask for the referral when you have that good conversation. Maybe not when you're going over the repair list of 50 things that the buyer wants, but maybe once you get it all resolved. Okay, so another great source of referrals, vendors. So think about it. We give our vendors so much business. Attorneys, home inspectors, termite inspectors, all different types of inspectors. How many of us ask for referrals from those people? Because most of us are thinking, well, they see hundreds of realtors all the time. They have people. How do we know that? Set yourself apart. Ask for that referral, because they're going to think about it. They're definitely going to think about it, and you're going to be really surprised at how much more business you can get just by asking for those referrals from all of those vendors. Friends and family. They all know we're in real estate, right? How quickly they forget. Unless we're constantly reaching out to our friends and family and reminding them what's happening in the market, they're going to forget. They're not going to call you when they're ready to list their house. So you need to be the person that is not their niece, their cousin, their aunt. You need to show them that you're the professional. They need to see that side of you, so that when they do think of real estate, they will think about you, because they know how much you love what you do. They know your experience. They know you know everything that's going on, and they're going to want to work with you. They're not going to be hesitant just because you're a family member, because they know that you know your stuff. So, but friends and family, you've got to remind them. They forget. And those out-of-state friends and family, they're actually great sources of referrals also. Most of them are still in contact with the people in New Jersey. So you've got to reach out to them and remind them, and ask them, you know, just call, ask them how they're doing, but make sure you let them know that you're still in real estate and how the market's jumping. Or maybe they're thinking about selling their house in Arizona right now. Well, you can get them an agent, and now you've gotten a referral fee. So lots of different resources out there with family and friends. So definitely keep that in mind. All right, open houses. So if you're an agent who does a lot of open houses, maybe you're not doing as much anymore, but think about all the open houses you have done in the last few years. A lot of those people haven't bought. A lot of those were neighbors that were curious what the house was selling for. Now's a great time to reach out to them, let them know what's going on in the market. You know, even if you got a couple people that said, no, I never did buy a home, but I am looking, that's a couple more transactions that you're going to have towards the end of the year, just by reaching out to those people that you might not have spoken to since the day of that open house, or maybe one other time. So reach out to them. Oh, how about those buyers? Those buyers that you spoke to last year or the year before that couldn't get a mortgage, even if they had the income, or some of them didn't have the income, but they had the credit. So reach out to those people. They may have been working on their credit for the last year or two, and they also might qualify for more of a house than they would have before because of the low interest rates. And again, you get one or two buyers that couldn't buy before and can buy now, there's 2 more deals to add to your transactions this year. So for the agents who don't have a ton of people in your database, or you do have a lot of people in your database, but you want to get to the next level, so you want to increase that database, now you got to step out of your comfort zone. So now it's time to start getting out there and meeting strangers. Maybe stop by your doctor's office. Maybe stop by a nail salon. Even if you don't utilize that person's services, stop by and introduce yourself. Hey, how you doing? I'm Connie Kersey with RE/MAX. I was in the area. I just wanted to see how your business is going. Hopefully things are picking up for you. You know, I'm always here if you have any questions. Any of your clients ever have any questions about real estate, I'm always happy to help. So it's always helpful if you bring food, pretzel tray, some cookies. They all love food just like us realtors do. So bring a little something. And then when you leave, and you leave your card as well, make sure you stop back in a month so they don't forget about you. You know, eventually you stop into enough of these places, people are going to remember you. They're going to start to get to know you. They're going to start to maybe build that relationship and trust, and they're going to want to refer you. So when somebody else comes in to get their nails done or their hair cut or their oil change done, and they mention that they're thinking about selling, oh, you know, I know this realtor. I've known her for a while now. Give her a call. She's a really good agent. And that's another referral. So again, that's out of your comfort zone. That's going out there talking to strangers and just popping in, but it really is a great source of referrals. Here's a really good one. So if you have younger children in sports or art classes or whatever kind of fun stuff, extracurricular activities that they do, that's a great source of referrals. So you just need to let everyone know that not only are you a realtor, but that you love helping people, that you love what you do, and you're always happy to help people. The more you talk to those soccer moms and dance moms and dads, the more they're going to get to know you and think of you also as a realtor and not just a friend, maybe. If you ever see Al Antuzzi in the hallway, ask him how much business he got out of his daughter's soccer team. A wealth of business. His daughter left soccer. He was so upset. Now she joined dance. Whole new gold mine out there. So there's lots of different ways. Now, I don't have little kids anymore. I do have older kids. So I make sure my older kids know if any of their friends are thinking about making a move, they need to call mom. So there's just lots of different ways out there to get that business and to do that lead generation. Another wealth of business comes from networking. So 9 years ago, I joined a LaTip group, and the LaTip of Mount Laurel. So I've known these people. I've built relationships for 9 years now. In the first quarter this year, I did 1.5 million from referrals from that LaTip group. It was amazing. And over the years, you know, when I first started out, I didn't get a ton of business. That is not normally, it's not instant business. You have to build those relationships. But wow, by me going to that group for 9 years and building relationships, I'm doing a ton of business. It's a remarkable thing. I also have a great source of referrals for my clients to utilize if they need an attorney, a financial guy, an auto mechanic, that type of thing. Another group I had joined was just a small networking group. There was only about 6 people, and it was all financial services. And I think it was, I don't know, a title guy. Somebody said to me one day, hey, you know, we're going to start these meetings every other week. Why don't you come and sit in? And I went and I sat in with them. And it was funny because it wasn't like a LaTip group where it's structured and you're doing certain things. It was very informal. So we might have all given a commercial, but as we got to know each other, we sat around talking about Seinfeld. I mean, as silly as that sound, and now I didn't get much business, 1 or 2 deals for the couple of years I was in it. I stayed in contact with all these people. I will probably do another 2 million in business from that little group over the next few months because all of a sudden everybody's looking to buy a house. It's crazy. So those relationships, again, they've taken a little longer to build, but think about it. If you start doing some type of networking now, and it doesn't have to be LaTip or BNI, you know, it could be your chamber, your Rotary. I will tell you that your groups that only have one person from each profession, very, very hard for a realtor to get into. Don't hesitate to form your own group. Reach out to some people. If you don't want to do the structured LaTip or BNI, form a small informal group. You build those relationships, you have that for years to come. So even if you don't get any business out of it for a year, imagine what you have 2, 3, 4, 5 years and on from that. I mean, that's just, you know, down the road, that's working less because you're just getting, the calls are coming. So they definitely are really good relationships to build. And again, start them now. But you have to get out into the public. Now, here's my least favorite one. But it would be foolish not to at least put it out there. So if you are struggling for business and you're trying to build your database, those old internet leads that you got, but you know nothing ever came from them, great source. Sit down, send them an email. If you have a phone number, make a call. All those internet leads, they may not have already purchased a home. Again, if 1 or 2 people buy a house through you because they didn't buy a house 4 years ago or 2 years ago, you got a couple more deals. So already by doing the few things that we've done already, we're now up to another 6 deals by the end of the year. And that's not even counting the business you would have already done. So there's just so many different ways out there that you can get your business. And social media. So I am not the expert on social media. Randall has had some really great people talking about that. And I'm definitely going to recommend, if you haven't listened to those Zoom meetings, check them out. So social media, which is something I never really cared for much, but I knew I had to be on it. So I make sure I'm on it, and I make sure I'm connecting with people. That's just another great way to get yourself out there, be in the public, as far as letting your clients see you in two different lights, both personal and professional. So here's 3 of my favorite things. Calls, notes, and pop-bys. Everybody know what they are? Calls, notes, and pop-bys. If you ever talk to me, it's what I talk about. It's the 3 things I do in my life to generate my business. So we talked about the calls. We're calling everyone in our database. We're calling people we know. We're calling people we don't know. We're calling people. We're asking for that referral. For me, it's calling people I know for the most part. Popeyes. So hopefully, on top of all those phone calls, you're stopping by and you're seeing your clients, and maybe you brought some bubbles for their kids. Maybe you're not knocking on the door because everybody's still a little nervous. So leave something on their doorstep. They're going to think of you. They're going to know you're still in the business. Follow it up with a text or a phone call as well. And the most important thing is what you do after you make the phone call or do the pop-by. You follow it up with a personal note. Simple, simple thing. Nobody takes the time to do it. Personal notes go so very far in this world because nobody does it. They really impress people. I can't count how many times I've gotten a phone call or an email that said, "Oh my God, nobody writes personal notes. That's a really nice touch. You must really care about people." It sets me apart. And I think that's what we all need to do. We need to make sure that we're setting ourselves apart from the rest of this industry out there. There's thousands of agents that everyone is competing with. So we have to show our clients that it's more about the relationship than just the transaction. We have to show them that we care. Those unexpected extras, they really do go a long, long way. Oh, and when you do those personal notes, don't forget about the vendors. So you stopped by the auto shop guy, you gave him some cookies, you met everybody, send him a personal note that day. It was great meeting all of you. I'm always here if you need me. If you don't know what to say in a personal note, if you had a phone call and they said, "Oh, we're so excited we get to go on vacation," mention the vacation. You know, baby got a first tooth, mention that. If you didn't talk about a whole lot, just say, "Hey, it was great talking to you. It was great catching up. I'm always here if you need me." It's a very simple thing. You don't have to rack your brain over what to put in a note. It's just the thought that you're sending it, and you put a smile on someone's face. It might sound all kind of superficial and silly, but I'll tell you what, when you do something nice for someone, they keep you in mind. They think of you. That being that positive resource for people really does go a long way. So I want to leave everybody with this, and then we can open it up if anybody has any questions as well. You all of us have everything at our fingertips to be the rock star agents that we have inside of us. We have to believe in ourselves. You have to surround yourself with positive people, and you have to be the positive influence in other people's lives, because it will come back to you both personally and professionally. And in my opinion, that's like the best lead generation tool out there, is be positive every time you speak to someone. Have that smile on your face and spread the good news about the real estate market. So I know I talked a lot. Does anyone have any questions?
Well, that was like a lot of good stuff. One of the takeaways that I got from it was you got to be out there and you got to be working and working the people. Like if you're not talking to people, you're not getting business.
Exactly.
Right? No?
You have to be out there talking to people. I just noticed Maria's chat. She said she has 4 buyers right now. She can't handle more business. What am I doing wrong? Well, you're not doing anything wrong. You're doing everything wonderfully. You've got 4 buyers you're working with, but you have to find an hour a day. Somewhere in 24 hours, you got to take an hour, because eventually those 4 buyers, they're going to close and they're not buying anymore, not for another 5 years. So if you do that lead generation now, once you close those 4 buyers, you're going to have more business. So you're not doing anything wrong. You're doing great things. Unfortunately, we have to make that time for the lead gen. I know how hard it is. I have days where, I look at myself, I'm like, yeah, I made 3 calls today. Now my quote is high, my quota is at least 10 calls a day I have to make to meet meet my goals that I set for myself for the year. Some days I'm like, I didn't make a call. You should see me at the day. I got to call somebody because I can't go through the day without making a call. That's my lead generation. I have to do it. It's part of my business. That would be like me saying to the seller, I can't come see you today. I'm too busy. It has to be an appointment in your schedule. And it's not easy to do at first, but once you start to do it every single day, it's routine. That's why, like now at the end of the day, I look at myself, do I need to make one more call before I call it a day? I mean, those little things are just going to set you up for successes down the road.
Connie.
And Tammy.
Okay, thank you. That was, I needed that. So I have all my referrals. I've gotten like over the past, I can't even keep track. I'm worn out. I have like 12 buyers. They're all referrals from previous clients. But the one thing I haven't done and that I need to do is really call the people in the past 4 to 8 years, because if I do that over the next couple of weeks, that may prompt some of them to sell. And then I can open up in some of those markets. I can open up some potential in-house, not in-house, but dual agent sales, because I don't know what else to do. There's just nothing to sell anybody. It's, and you start to get like that. So I decided this week I'm not working. Come Friday to Sunday, I need to take that time off and refresh. So the work I will do, because we're never not working, is those people, the 4 to 8. I appreciate you saying that, because I'm going to call those people specific and say, hey, enjoy your weekend. I just want to let you know the market's crazy. Kind of what you said. But the people that I've sold to in the past 4 to 8, I've been mailing them, but just not, I'm going to call them and say, hey, no more personal notes. You want a list? So I thank you for that. That gives me something else to work on, because it's been stressful. All the buyers and those referrals are great, but now I need things to sell them.
Yeah, I'm running into that myself. I got a lot of referrals, but there's not tons of houses to show them. I'm going to tell you this, you're taking the weekend off. You deserve that. I think as agents, I know I've been back in the business for 17 years, probably for the first 14 to 15 years, for the first 10 to 12 years, I was working 7 days a week. And I just thought, this is what I have to do if I want to support my kids and get more business. Mm-hmm. I don't do that anymore. Now, I can't say I've never worked 7 days a week, but I take every Sunday off. And if somebody wants to go out, I tell them, I'm sorry, I'm booked. I think everyone needs to be able to take a day off and just zone out and refresh yourself. If you're refreshed, you're better to your clients come Monday. You're going to be able to go full steam ahead because you took that time off. So it's important to take a little time for yourself.
And that's what happens. I think we forget, like I always take a week off at the end of July. And I work the whole week, so I never want to tell anybody I'm doing anything else. But I actually text all my buyers. I will be back to work on Monday. I will be back to showing on Tuesday. I need to do my schedule. I gave them a detailed text. They're like, oh, great. Well, we're going to take some time off too. We could use a break from disappointment.
Perfect.
But it's difficult because when you have that many referrals that are all from repeat clients, they're being told you're great, you did this for them, you did that for them, and now you can't find them a house, and it kind of beats on your mental as an agent because you're not winning right now. You're running into the same brick wall. So I appreciate you saying that, and I will focus on the past 4 to 8, and just because I kind of didn't forget about those people, but they all got letters and cards and that type of thing over the past 8 weeks, and I've talked to some of them, been invited out for social distance, but no thank you. Only if it's for work. But anyway, so thank you.
Well, I have to say this. I can't take the credit for that. So my coach, Aishan, said to me, you need listings. Here's a great way to get them. And I was like, oh. And then I talked to her 2 weeks later, and she said, did you do any of those CMAs we talked about? I did one. She's like, do you think you need to do more? Yeah. So I talked to her again yesterday. We speak every 2 weeks. I did 5, so I'm getting better. I'm not perfect. It's really hard to find time for everything, but all those little things that you do, they're going to get you there. And here's a great tip for buyers that you can't find a house for, because then we all start to feel like, well, there's nothing to say. There's nothing to show them. There's no listings to even send them. Yep. That's when you just send a little email. Hey, nothing new on the market. I know this must be frustrating for you, but hang in there. It just means that the perfect house is yet to come. So something simple like that. You're still looking like the rock star, and when they talk to the friend that referred you to them, they're going to say, yeah, there's no inventory, but Tammy keeps in touch with me all the time. I know she's trying really hard. So then that'll give you a little peace of mind, just knowing that you did reach out to them.
That's my chin up buttercup card. Thanks, honey.
And mailings are great. So my clients get a monthly mailing and a monthly email from me. I'm fortunate because when I did the Buffini system, it's just everything is set up. It's very, very simple. If anybody ever wants information about the Buffini system, please reach out. I mean, you can do things very inexpensively through there. But even if you just want some ideas, I'm happy to share them with you. Does anybody else have any questions? Anything you want to talk about?
Oh, hi, how are you?
Hi.
So you gave some great tips, so thank you for that. What would you recommend for a new agent as the first place of those things to start with?
So as far as lead generation,
Yes.
okay, do you have a database at all?
Just the sphere of influence, people who I know.
Okay, so start with that. Start calling everyone, and if you're a new agent, you can't focus on, hey, I've been doing this a really long time. What you can do is focus on, I am so excited to be in this business because it's such a wonderful real estate market, and be that bearer of good news. So start calling all the people that you do know. Once you've gone through all the people that you do know, not after that, I mean, you can do that in the meantime, but you need to get out there to network, even if it's the Zoom networking, because we're all doing that now instead of actually meeting in person. But you know, the places that are, the businesses that are open, stop by and introduce yourself. So you're going to need to fill that database. You need people to put in there, because if the more people that you put in there, the more people you have to reach out to, the more people that will eventually reach out to you. You'll have more transactions, and again, that will fill your database. So I always think, you know, that's the toughest part, but that's what they say. Like when you're a new agent, you have to start with family, friends, past colleagues. If you had previous work experiences, reach out to those people, no matter where you worked, whatever your job was in the past. Even if it was a homemaker, guess what? You probably met mothers and fathers of other kids. Reach out to those people. My problem when I got back into this business, what I found was I really didn't have a lot of people's phone numbers. So sometimes it was kind of hard to get in contact with people. So there's phone calls, there's emails, and there's mailings. If you don't have much information for someone, send them a note. Hi, it's me. I just wanted to say hello. I wanted to remind you I'm in the real estate business. If you ever have any questions, I'm here for you. So all of those little things, that's going to help you build that database. And again, get out there and meet some business owners. It will go a long way. Don't just go once, though. You have to go again. They have to see your face a few times. Oh, and do open houses. If agents are running open houses, feel free to let them know I can do an open house. Sorry, Randall.
Yeah, so Connie, Brian Buffini had a plan at one time. I don't know if you remember it, how to build your database, because we ask agents, do you have a database or do you have a list of center of influence? And one of the things that he used to say is, one, it has to be in writing, and you got to start with just writing down everybody's name that you know. And then you go back and you start filling in all the information that you know about them, and then you'll find that you'll have like some blank spots, and then that might be your job to fill that in. But I remember he had like a 3-2-1 program. Do they still use that?
So Brian has changed some of his courses over the years. Back in, was it December or January when I gave the class? That class had a lot, there was 1 or 2 classes that actually focused on building your database. We can actually run that class again if people are interested in it, but the Buffini system is actually doing that. I think they're still doing it for half price right now. And he's also in the process of getting the next class ready, but you have to take essentials before you can do the second class. But that is a phenomenal class. I took it, it was called Peak Producers a few years ago. And it really shows you how to build your business, build your database. And then it shows you how to run your business like a business, so you're not flying all over the place. And then the class that I just gave in the beginning of the year, it was almost the same class as what I had taken. It's just a new format. So I think every 5 or 10 years, Brian comes out with new formats, better systems for those classes that he thinks works better. So what you had seen was probably pretty much the same thing of the classes now, with some tweaking in it.
Well, one of the things that he said was, you don't try to do it all in one day. So maybe you write down 3 people that you know and put that into your database, and then you go out, and that next day you meet somebody new. So by the end of the month, after the end of 30 days, you had 90 people that you already knew. You had 30 new people that you met that month. And now you're looking at 120 people, and I think there was a 2 in there too. And you have 120, 130 people in 1 month by just doing a couple of people a day, adding them to the list. So I mean,
Yes.
yeah. So that's, oh, I'm here. So
But
there you go.
that's the
There you
best
go,
way to
guys.
do
Look,
it. Randall's right. You can't do it all in a day. Obviously, some days you're going to be able to do more than others if you're not running around with clients. But take some time every day and add to that list. And then from that list, you build on it. And like Randall said, by the end of the month, you've added 30 people, 60 people to your database. Now you have more people to reach out to call and check in, or send a personal note to. And it's a gradual thing with building your database. As you fill that database, then you can go back and you can tweak it more. But starting it out is really the first way to go.
And Connie, you had 2 numbers that you said today about people that you were dealing with. You were getting leads from your LaTips groups, and the numbers you used, one was like, $1.5 million in production. And I just want to turn that into like a real dollar figure. And that's $45,000 gross.
Yeah.
And then that other one that you mentioned was $2 million. So that's $60,000 gross. So as I'm listening to you, I'm realizing that you are doing, over $100,000 in commissions just from your LaTip group. Which, that's a phenomenal thing.
And the other networking group. Now again,
between the two,
yes.
between the 2 networking groups.
But keep in mind, that wasn't Connie joined LaTip last year and did all this business. Connie joined these groups years ago, and I built relationships. It's how I run my business. It's about those relationships. So most of the business from the LaTip group actually all came from one person. It came from, I call her my friend now. I mean, when I first met her, we didn't know each other. She's my caterer. And Andriotti's Catering, there's a big shout out for her, because she always refers me. Friends, family, people she meets at events. It's amazing. So guess what I do? They can't do events right now because they cancel weddings and everything. I order food from her once a week. And I'll spend $50 to $100 a week to order food from her, because I will make sure I support her every single week as much as I can. So it really is those relationships. But yeah, it was a good amount of money. Now, not all years are like that. So, don't get me wrong. It's not always like that. But this year it was, wow, look how much business from these networking groups. And there was a few years ago, I thought about leaving the LaTip group because I was thinking, I'm not getting a ton of business. And I thought, I'm going to stay with it because I really like the people. And I'm really glad I stayed with it. So it's definitely worth it. Those networking groups, forming those relationships, they're worth it. They're definitely worth it in the long run.
Even if it starts out at 10,000 one year and 20,000 the next year, and then 5 years into it, it's 100,000. That's called building a business. So you're doing a phenomenal job there, and I think my big takeaway is talk to people, talk to as many people as you can, tell them what you're doing, and don't forget to ask those questions. And I think Floyd Wickman class, they called it Woping questions. I think you got that from Alan too. You know, instead of
Yep.
saying, do you know anybody? You know, you may want to ask the question, who do you know? So that gets the people thinking, like, well, who do I know that is going to be the next person that's moving? And then Connie, I'm like, you got me excited because I'm sitting there thinking, yeah, I want to say, don't forget, it's also, don't forget that it's also what you look for. So whatever you're looking for, that's what you're going to find. So if you're looking for seller business, you're going to be more up to find that seller business. If you're looking for, you know, buyer business, you're going to find buyer business. But if you're telling people that houses are selling in a matter of days for over market price, you know, that might get somebody to decide to list the house, because now they're not thinking, well, it's going to be so much trouble, nobody's going to buy it. You know, start letting people know, as you said, how much equity is in that property. You know, they may want to cash that out and buy something bigger. So I like that. I mean, I guess your coach was telling you to do CMAs. So,
Yeah.
you know, to let your folks know that, hey, did you know this is what your house is worth? So get them excited about, you know, moving. And then you can pick up the listings. And once you pick up the listings, you're not out there, you know, every weekend showing what, like Maria says, she's got 4 buyers. You know, it would be great if she had 4 listings because she could be at home. You know, or 4 listings and 2 buyers, so she wouldn't be, you know, as running as tired. Same thing with Tam. So this is really some really good stuff, and I appreciate you sharing with us. Anybody else have any other great questions?
Randall, Connie, I just want to add everything that you guys are saying, especially since there's a couple of new agents on here today. Listen to what they're saying and do it, because I have a list that I keep of potential listings. And I started last week again, going through that list and calling. I made 10 phone calls on Thursday. I have 4 appointments that'll be happening between now and the end of July. So just, it works. If you have somebody you know, just go to them and say, hey, I'm a real estate agent. Who do you know that might be thinking about selling? Pick up those listings, and it is so much fun.
And as Connie and what we've been hearing is also, don't forget, it's not just the friends and family that you know. Don't forget to ask everybody that you're talking to. I was talking to a home warranty guy yesterday, and I was telling him, hey, you know, I'm looking for agents. Who do you know? He knew a couple of names that he gave me. You know, and typically I wouldn't ask, but I did, and I asked and I got. So, well, they say if you don't ask, you don't get. And Connie, this is like really great. I also love the fact that, you know, you're saying for us all to stay positive, because I think that's really important too.
So if I could just put one more thing out there, no matter how busy I am, if anybody ever has a question they need to bounce an idea off of, or if they're struggling with something, please reach out to me. And if I'm not with a client, I will make sure I find some time to help you out. I'm a firm believer that when you help other people, good things happen to you. So as much as we are all each other's competition, I think we're all going to do a lot better. We're going to succeed more if we help each other. So I will say that the most I learned in real estate, and I was with the W company many, many years ago, which I didn't like, but I will tell you this, you know what I learned from? I learned from standing around talking to people, with listening to their real estate stories and asking some questions. I learned more about real estate than you ever learn in real estate school, for sure. But that camaraderie, that listening to other people and understanding that everybody's going through this, it really means a lot. It makes you feel more positive. It makes you think, oh, well, I can do that too. So I just want to put it out there. If anyone ever needs anything, reach out to me anytime. I'm happy to help.
All right. Well, that's great. So we're gonna close it up. Thank you very much. Look, we got some thank you, Connie. Connie is a great job as always. We really appreciate it. We're blessed to have you as part of our organization. And you, man, this was a knocked out of the park. So I will close things up now and look forward to next week. So you guys have a good holiday weekend, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks. Have a great weekend.
All righty.